We live in a strange world these days where we have to have people running around and just for basic human necessities, they have to pirate things for other people. People that barely have anything themselves having to commit crime to help people that are barely less fortunate than themselves. Risking incarceration to give people a shower or food or many of the other staple things that we need to survive. And I consider myself lucky to have a infested, gutted out motorhome to live in. And that's pretty bad. Personally, myself, I'm a veteran of 2 wars. I've done my fair share of crime, mostly to fund vigilantism, which is a crime, but it falls in line with the theme of my video here. Maybe I'll get into what I've done more later, but the main concern that I have here is the fact that we have governments who cater to rich people, who do not care about us. And in fact, if you look it up, our eugenics is their little religion or whatever, and it talks about the genetic superiority and all that shit. It's the Holocaust, like from the World War II. It's just on a larger scale. Now, our governments cater to these people that have they don't consider us people. They consider us like vermin. And they are planning to kill us. That's an established fact. Unless you believe that, the WF Carl Schwab or whatever his name is, talking about decreasing the population by a significant amount within the next 5 years. Do you expect 30 or 60% of everyone to just die of old age in the next 5 years? If not, then that's them blatantly telling us what they're planning. Which is not good for you and it's not good for me. It's extermination, genocide. Eugenocide is what I call it, because eugenics, genocide, same thing. But we need to come together, and it's time to consider the fact that we may have to be a little bit more action-oriented. And I don't care if it's a crime for me to say that. I'll say it blatantly. They're trying to kill us. And if we do nothing and sit here and continue to allow them to wage war on us and we don't respond, that's foolish, because we're already at war. The acts of, certain individuals lately, and I'll say his name, Luigi Mangione. That man's a hero, as far as I'm concerned. And not because he killed a CEO in broad daylight or any of that, but because he gave voice to an impoverished, abused, and outright subjugated people that had no voice of their own. And that is, by definition, heroic. He's done us a great deed, and you can't overlook that. And the fact that we are leaving him in the care of our enemies, who are actively our enemies, who are waging war against us in every facet, starving people, harming people. I've been through their legal system before, and they tied me to a chair, and for 5 hours starved and beat me with little bats and stuff, and laughed like jackals the whole entire time. It's a traumatic experience for me, and I've been through 2 wars, and it troubles me. Do I have a personal vendetta against those specific cops that did that to me? Of course. I would do that. I would do that to them and more if I had the opportunity. But that's not the basis for my anger. More so than my own personal grief, I see what's going on with everyone that's not uber wealthy or whatever. It just keeps this decline. I'm watching families being put out in the street. I'm watching people that have spent their whole lives working to have a small house and home being cheated out of it by people who want more money, greed. And the only way to have more money when you've taken everything already is to take it from other people or to take those people out. And that latter portion is what exactly they're trying to do. This whole decrease the population by 60 or whatever percent in the next 5 years. Unless you believe that every one of those people, like 30% or 50% or whatever our society, is sitting in a hospice home and is going to die of old age in the next 5 years. These are people that are already alive. This is not like, oh, we're going to decrease births, we're going to do that. All that stuff takes about 100 years to actually take effect. They're talking about 5 years. And if you can't see through the forest through the trees and understand that what that means is they intend genocide, then you need to take a good look in the mirror and consider your education. Consider what other lies you've been told, and understand that you probably should open your eyes a little bit more, because that's simple math. And the simple math is that you cannot remove or decrease the world population by 30, 60, 90% by altering birth rates and such, and just waiting for old folks to kick off. Your 30 or 60 or 90% of our population isn't just going to die of old age in the next 5 years. It should be a lot more obvious to everyone exactly what's going on here. And if you do not act, if we do not act, because like I said, I'll get into my background and later if necessary, but I have acted. I've always asked for people to join me in my mission in life. That if we do not act with that same heroic courage as, well, maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but if we don't start taking that kind of action seriously, at very least considering it, we're all dead, because they are waging war against us. We are at war. We're just so stupid we're not fighting back yet. Don't continue to be that stupid, because you're not just costing yourself, you're costing everyone else. And philanthropy, altruism will only carry it so far. That's just basically keeping people alive long enough to be exterminated and cost these people money. Because really, all they have to do is pull the plug on all the logistics. And then and if you're just going to keep on keeping on, we'll all starve. We need to find our own way around doing things, build something better, make it to where we don't rely on them anymore, and then let them go toil in obscurity playing Monopoly by themselves. Or we can take what's ours as the people who have built this world, take it back, because it belongs to those who built it, not to those who stole it. That's always been the principle as far as I know. Those who put in the effort get the rewards. That's how it's supposed to be. But it seems like now we've been geared and manipulated into believing that those who steal have the right to steal, and those who work and made it don't get any, because they were just slaves. And that is the mentality that is being acted out in this world. So please take the time to think about the things that I've said and consider. I don't want some like, follow, and subscribe, all that bullshit. No, I'm saying, like, physically unplug from this device and follow some people. Follow me. Follow people like me. Get together, unite, have ideas, fight. Deny, depose, defend, right? Well, here's the thing. It's a lot larger than a medical issue. It's a lot larger than an industrial prison, industrial drugs, industrial everything. When it's an industry to destroy your life and then profit off of its destruction. To get you addicted to meth when you're a child and then throw you in a profit for prison when you're an adult and still find it. To send you to a dentist for a toothache and give you heroin and then arrest you and put you in an industrial prison once you've gotten addicted to it. What used to be considered medicine is now a weapon. And drug companies, the new, like, gods, I guess. Money, which is just a thing that's supposed to ease trade, has become the ruler of us all, which it shouldn't be. You can build and fix things. You don't need to buy new ones all the time. And the only reason you think that you do have to is because of controlled obsolescence, which is basically them making sure that things break, so you have to buy more so they get more money. They've gotten to the point where they steal every intellectual property from anyone and then make a contract to where it's perfectly legit. That's not right. And the only way we're going to get this back, it's not going to be from asking for it. I wonder how many people begged for their lives from their captors in their concentration camps and during the Holocaust. See, that's the position you're putting us all in, where you're giving up our rights and your refusal to fight back. It's not putting us in a very bargainable place, because here's the deal. When you have to beg someone who plans to exterminate you for anything, the answer will always be no. Stop asking. Take what's ours, because you're not going to get it by asking. And if you don't take it, you'll have nothing. And I guarantee they'll like it, but we won't, because nothing means you have no more life. When you give up all your choices, those include when and where and whether you live or die. So be careful what you let someone else take from you, because at a certain point, they'll leave you with they'll leave you with one of two choices. Accept that they are your owners and be slaves, or die, and hopefully taking some of them with you. We're already there. Let's not get it to the point where you're in shackles too, and then you only have one choice, which is to obey. I don't obey. I protect people. I help people. But I won't take their free will, and I wouldn't allow anyone to do it while I'm paying attention. See, they avoid me. I beg and plead for any officer of the law to come and try me. You'll end up dead, because I don't obey. I put a pistol in the throat of a cop that tried to intimidate me with a gun, and he apologized. Imagine that. I don't obey, and I won't. Thing is, I'm also a fairly well-trained and worldly experienced engineer and other things, but the vast majority of it is I don't obey, and you shouldn't either. If you can do at least that, that's a good start.